Hello everyone, it's Natasha from Treasure Books. Today we're going to make quick favor pockets, and first we're going to make them with burlap. You can use anything that has some sort of a sturdage, let's say upholstery fabric for example, and then we're going to make a paper version with little booklets inside. So for this you can use their favor pockets. So you can put in like tea bags or little chocolates or little gifts, perfect for gift baskets or Christmas time coming up, hint hint. You can take this idea so many different ways. We're gonna have fun today, so let's just get started. Today's idea comes from a paper crafts magazine from 2011. Well, I'm glad it finally made it to the list, and look at all these fun things that we can make. And it's really easy, and I have to say, reading instructions like this, I find this difficult. Like, it's easier for me to watch somebody do it rather than just read instructions, because I have to figure things out as I go. Okay, here's my little sample over here. So let's see if I can make it even prettier on screen. Okay, first thing, I need to cut a 6-inch square of burlap. And you know, of course, it doesn't have to be 6 inches. It can be 4 if you want a smaller pocket. It can be 8 if you want a larger pocket. Totally up to you. It can be 12 by 12. All right, what have I got here? I suppose as long as it's a square, it doesn't matter, you know, the size. So this one, I might as well use this piece. It's a little bit less than 6 inches. I'm gonna make it 5.5-inch square. All right, so that's approximately 5.5, and then 5.5 on this edge. Get in there. And the good thing about this is that you can use upholstery fabric or anything that has a bit of weight. Like, we can't really, well, I suppose we could do it with just fabric. Next thing it tells me on the thing, on my instructions, is to adhere 3 sides to create a pocket. This is what I mean, like, how do I do that? So I assume this is how I do it. Or perhaps we'll do these 2 sides first, and then this one goes up, like so. And it says adhere, but I'm gonna sew. I'm just gonna do a little stitch here with my needle and thread. I suppose you could just staple it shut, but then there's the risk of those staples, you know, scratching someone or something, I don't know. All right, here we go. Do a little stitch. Lovely. Okay, here's what I have now, and I'm just gonna get rid of these bits. This is gonna keep happening, but it's just the nature of the burlap, I suppose. Okay, so now in the photo, if you'll have a look at the finished project, see how those edges kind of look, well, we can't see this one, but this one we can, kind of looks shut. So it doesn't tell me what to do with my edges. So I'm thinking it might be nice to do eyelets. That would be nice. Or, as in my example over here, we can just leave it as it is. And then this can be used for like tea bags or little chocolates, or, you know, something that's chunky so we can really fill it up. So I don't think that really matters, but I had the idea of doing the eyelets, and I'm just wondering now if I should go with that. I could also just do a simple stitch or just leave it as is. I decided to leave it as is. So my next thing on the instructions, it says adhere pattern paper strip and tie on twine bow. Going into my organized paper offcuts, I'm so proud of this thing. And I'm just gonna look for something that goes with the burlap. That'll do. But I think this is too thick, so I'm just gonna cut it down a little bit. Okay, that's perfect. That's about 1 inch. I'm going to ink the edges to make it stand out a bit more. All right, perfect. And now we just need to attach or adhere like so. And I'm gonna use a little bit of double-sided tape. This is so simple to make, especially at the paper one. The paper one is definitely more my kind of jam, but this is interesting too with the burlap. Okay, attach, adhere. And it says tie on twine bow. All right, we shall do that. So I have a bit of twine. We can do like this kind of a twine, or perhaps even something like this. Really anything goes, but I'm gonna stick with this natural theme of the project. So I have one end over here, and I'm gonna go around once and twice, and they shall meet here. Lovely. And now I'm gonna go one of these free, what's it called, one of these strings underneath everything, so that I have kind of this thing happening. I hope that's making sense. And I'm going to tie a bow, something like that. Maybe I can turn it around this way. That will do. That looks quite nice. Next thing we need is a little circle, so I'm just going to show you in the picture over here. The only thing isn't clear in the instructions is how did this piece of burlap end up being on top of the paper strip. Obviously the paper strip was put down first, and then this was, you know, so the instructions are, they lied to me. Okay, circle. I have some of these large circles in my stash and kind of hoard them, but I'm gonna stop hoarding them, and I'm going to use it for this project. So just looking for something that goes really nicely, and of course that one goes really nicely. Even this one, maybe this one. Oh, I like this one. I might keep this one for the paper version. So I'm just going to go with the green. Ink the edges. So in the project, in the magazine, they only used one smaller circle, but I'm kind of using a big circle, and now I'm going to use a smaller circle on top. Just looking for something that's going to work. I'm thinking maybe a gold circle is going to look good. Maybe something like this. And then the instructions say to thread button with twine and adhere everything. So what do we think about this? I'm not gonna do that what they tell me to do. So what I'll do instead, I have a song stuck in my head now. It goes something like this. I won't do what you tell me. I won't do what you tell me. You know that song? Okay, I'm gluing the circles, and next I'm gonna choose a button. I don't like that one. I'm just trying out a few different things here. The blue doesn't go. And I was thinking, if you're doing this for Christmas, for example, you can do it for craft fairs and stuff like that. I like this one. Handmade with love. I think I'm gonna go with that one. But you can do like Christmas themed, like I love this burlap thing. You can do Christmas themed buttons and colors and everything. You can do so much fun stuff. All right, I'm gonna go with this button, and I'm actually first going to glue the button onto this. It's just, I suppose, what I'm deciding to do. Just glue the button, and then thread my needle with some crochet thread. Okay, needle threaded, and I have a little knot here. I probably have too much, but it's fine. Okay, and I'm going to actually sew this on, so it's not going anywhere. So I'm going to put it where I want it. That's perfect placement there. And now I'm going to poke the holes through the buttonholes and try not to like poke myself in there. Poke one hole, poke the other hole, go back in through the first hole so I can see. All right, that was just so I can see where approximately it is, and fiddle around in there until I can get in. And look what I did with the gold cardstock, but that's okay. I'm gonna make it look intentional. That's the plan. And just sew that button on. It's a bit fiddly, this, I have to say. Probably easier to just glue it on, to be honest. I was trying to rebel against the instructions, and I was like, I'm gonna do it my way. Well, there you have it. All right, tie a little knot in there. I know you can't see this. Quite annoying, isn't it? All right, chop it off. Listen, you just have to adhere that button on there somehow. So, doesn't matter how you get there. Now I'm gonna try and make this look, actually I don't mind how that looks. Anyway, it is what it is. It just is what it is. Okay, this is where I left it with my first one. I think they look nice just the way they are. But from this here, if you want to get more ideas, it's telling me to cut down a piece of cardstock. You can see that there, and insert it inside. It specifically says trim pattern paper to fit inside pocket, which I don't think I want to do that, to be honest. Die cut doily from pattern paper, fold and insert. That's this doily here. This is just to give you ideas. Then it says spritz flowers with shimmer sprays. I'm not even gonna go there. And it says to stamp a spoon, and I'm gonna leave it there with that idea, with the instructions. I'm gonna leave this as it is, but you can go ahead and do stuff on the inside as well. All right, listen, I'm done with that, and I'm done with this. Now the fun begins, for me at least, because I'm all about paper crafting, and I love how this is looking, and we don't have to fiddle with any sewing business. And I love the idea of this. We can take this to the next level. We can make house journals, like house, you know, because it already looks like a house roof, that kind of thing. Okay, so let's get a piece of paper. And again, the size doesn't matter. Use whatever you have. And the one thing I want to do is make sure that my paper is double-sided, because you can see both the outside and the inside, and I don't want the inside to be white. So, okay, I'm using a 6.5 by 6.5 piece of square paper. I actually had to cut it down from my larger sheets because I don't actually have any double-sided 6.5 squares. So here we go. But like I said, you can use any size really. I just wanted 6.5 because this one was made from 6.5. So I just want them to be the same. But we can do whatever. We can make large, 12 by 12 or 8 by 8 or small, 4 by 4. You get the idea. I'm inking the edges. I'm going to do both sides, even though some won't even be visible, but that's all right. Okay, now we have to do the folding business. And I like to be, you know, a little bit particular here, because I want this point to be right in the center. And, you know, you can eyeball it, or you just have to kind of fold it down like this. You can eyeball it, but I like to be precise. So I use one of my cutting mats, and I put it on a line. All right, I put it on a line, and I make sure this point is on the same line as this point. Perfect. And then I'm gonna fold in around here somewhere, just so that it kind of overlaps that middle line. And I'm also folding it against the line here. Now, I don't know if this is confusing or what, but my point is on a 10. I could have put it anywhere really, but I put it on a 10, and I'm folding on the 15. So it's 5 centimeters from the point to the fold. So I don't know if that's confusing. It probably would be confusing to me if I was watching a video, but you can see what I'm doing. You can totally eyeball this. You don't have to be crazy perfectionist like me. And I'm going to do the same over here, also 5 centimeters. So I'm folding at this line, which is a 5. It's just craziness, I tell you. This isn't about getting perfection, but I can't help myself. So there we go. There we have it. So we've overlapped. I might even go ahead and pop a bit of glue and just shut that baby. And now we need to obviously fold this up. Look how cool this on its own. Stick it down on a page and it becomes a little... Oh, I'm so going to do this in a journal. It becomes like a little pocket there, like a sliding, like a vertical belly band. And then you can just leave that as well. Anyway, that's an idea I shall explore. And now you can fold it down here, just like that, to get a perfect little meat. Look at that. Beautiful. But I want them to be exactly the same. So what did I do over here? I folded way up. I don't know why I did that, but I did it, so I'm doing it again with this one, simply because I want the two projects to be exactly the same. But they are not exactly the same, are they? Why do I have more paper here than I have here? It's a mystery. It's a mystery. I mean, they're exactly the same this way. It is a mystery that I do not care about solving right now. I might pop a little bit of glue there. Do I want to shut it right away? No, because now what I want to do is grab my ruler, and I'm meeting those points, and I'm gonna fold this up, make a little crease. Oh, even that looks pretty. That looks pretty, but I want to actually fold it. We can cut it off, but I want to fold it onto the inside like this. It's just what I want to do. So now I can go in with the glue there, perhaps on the sides, and maybe even in there, and pop that inside. Very easy. I mean, this, how many ways of making an envelope or a little pocket? Thousands. So this definitely isn't anything new. All right, next thing we gotta do is choose a strip of paper. Oh, don't we love using strips and scraps and offcuts and all that stuff. All right, I'm just gonna do a quick test. How's this gonna look? I think that's gonna look okay. Maybe we can get fancy and maybe we can do like 2 strips. We can have a thicker one, and then we can use up some of these bits that we will like to keep, the bottom strips of the 12 by 12 paper. First thing I'm gonna do is get this a little bit narrower looking. This is gonna go back into that strips folder. That's the thing, like with strips and scraps, and you can never truly get rid of it all. Okay, first this one goes on. Where do I want it? Do I want it up here? Oh, I used exactly the same. I didn't even realize. Or do I want it down here? It doesn't matter, because it can be moved up and down. It's not completely glued to the project. So we're just gonna do this again, and we're going to do this. Oh, perfection. And we're going to use double-sided tape, because why not? This is just a little temporary little project. It's not like I'm making a journal cover and using double-sided tape. Glue it down. Yes. Okay, and now what have I decided? I can get fancy. I can do this. How's that gonna look? Or this? Well, the choice is quite clear. It's going to be this one. I might even pop a little bit of glue on there just so it's not sliding around too much. Put it right there in the middle and then plop it down. Trim off the excess. Put a double-sided tape. We should do a Christmas series of making these little, I usually do every year, I do like a little Christmas edition of all the fun things or last minute project ideas or gift ideas. I mean, this is something that can fall into that category. I don't know why. I mean, I have mentioned Christmas a few times. I suppose it's because, I don't know, it's September and it's kind of like coming up. I'm not even that much into Christmas, if I'm being honest, but you know, it's just fun thinking of all these little gifts that we can make for people. All right, now I need a smaller little circle. Go into my specialized little box over here. And what have we got? Oh, we can definitely do better, because look at this and look at this. You've probably seen this before, but these are my DIY breads. I have a video. If you haven't seen it, what are you waiting for? Go and check it out, because look, we don't even need to fiddle with any of this stuff. We can just go ahead and choose which one should I choose. Let's go with maybe something like this. No. How about let's be bold and go with yellow? No. How about this? Not bad. I could have just done a button brad before rather than sewing the button on. Didn't cross my mind. And you know what? Sometimes with this much choice, it actually makes the decision more difficult to make. This would look quite nice. I'm just gonna go with this one, because I can hear you. I can hear your thoughts. You're thinking, just get on with it already, woman. I don't know. So I chose this one, even though I don't think it's the perfect one for this project, but it's just gonna have to do. So how we're gonna, it's a massive brad. It's quite large, that one. And we don't even need this little guy. So let's find the perfect circle. I mean, the perfect middle in this circle, which is about there somewhere. Eyeballage in action. Then we're gonna put it where we want it. I want it exactly there. So we're gonna go through the project, but not through the back, obviously. We're just gonna go in here. Quite a few layers there. Okay, and then we're gonna go in with the brad. And now we just have to open those little feet, those little brad prongs. Excellent. It's not the best choice I was aiming for something better looking than this, and it's not, is it? But we shall persevere. We shall keep on going, because the next thing, I mean, this is done. Easy peasy. Next thing we want to do is this booklet. You see how beautiful that looks? It just fits right in there. Now this alone is a very cute little gift. You can have some prompts, maybe reasons why I love you. I don't know. I'm sure you can think of millions of ideas. Okay, let's make this baby. All right, the first thing that I need is a cover for my little journal, and basically what I need is a piece of paper that's larger than my project over here, and that is not too small when folded in half like this. It can be larger because we can cut it off, because I want it to be like a perfect fit. So what I'm looking for is this. It can easily go inside the little project, and it has border around and border around here, which you can't see, but that's what gives it the ease of, you know, taking in and out. Okay, so now I'm looking for paper that goes really well with my project, because it's visible, right? So maybe this one. This looks quite nice. I'm just gonna go with it. I'm not gonna overthink this. And these sheets happen to be 8 by 8. Perfect. Oh, so easy. Okay, I'm gonna fold it in half. And excellent. It's gonna have to be trimmed down because it's like almost exactly the same size. But first I'm gonna do the pages inside. All right, I have some pages left over from yesterday when I was making this one. So basically, I'm gonna do it now so you can see what I've done. I take A4 size sheets of paper. A4 is standard copy size paper, right? And I fold it in half lengthwise, or is it height-wise? Oh, my brain is not braining today. All right, and I have it in a booklet. So I have 1, 4, 5. You can do however many you want. Remember, all of my pieces were like this height. Let's do this. So we're going to do our little booklet. And now that I have made my booklet, I'm going to determine the height that I need. So basically what I want is the height to be slightly shorter than this very top point. So the total height of the journal has to be slightly shorter than the very top point of the envelope thing or the project. Okay, so how do we determine that? Usually you just put it on top, but I have this chunky flower here, so I can't do that. So I'm gonna do it this way. So I'm just popping this down. I'm gonna slide it down a little bit more than the actual edge, because when you slide this in, it's not gonna go all the way to the very point. And I'm gonna give myself a mark slightly shorter than the point over here. And now I'm gonna trim. Okay, trim away. Perfection. I just want to see if this will fit in there. It's slightly taller. I might as well just put it in there. Alrighty. So we worked out the height, and now we need the width. And of course this is too wide. It's not going to fit in. So I want a little bit of space on this side and a little bit of space on the other side. So I'm going to mark myself somewhere over here and trim away. Okay, here's the little booklet, and we're just gonna test. So go in, and you can see now there's a little bit poking out. I would like this to be a little bit shorter, doesn't matter. And we have space over here, and now we have to do that thing. We have to cut this off. So I actually draw myself a line. When your project is in, just like this, you can see the top here and you can see the edge here. So we just want to line. Can you see that there and that there? So I'm going to draw myself a line over here, just like so. And now I know exactly where to cut, but I'm going to do the same on this side. I have my point over here that I've already drawn. I had to redraw that because I need this point directly under this point, if you want to be crazy and just make it all perfect, you know. Okay, excellent. And you can see that. Now this goes to the cutting board. Of course, another thing you can do is just draw yourself a line here, cut it off, and then use this cut off piece on the other side as a guide to cut the other side off. And here comes the cutting business, so I can just pop my ruler against the line and cut away. And now the other side. Notice how I didn't bind the book yet? That's because that comes next, and the reason why I didn't is because I need to know like where to poke the holes with my spine. I need to know how big my spine is going to be basically. So this is what we have now. Let's just test it out. Here it is, just how I wanted it. Okay, next thing we're going to do is perhaps we can go ahead and ink the edges now or after binding, it really doesn't matter. Okay, needle and thread ready. For these little booklets, I like to use little thread. Like I don't want to have chunky thread in there, just what I prefer. All right, find the middle. And now this is what I mean. This is why I do the cutting first, because now I can see exactly how tall my spine is, so I can have those hole placements kind of perfectly aligned, I suppose. Okay, 3 holes. We have one in the middle, one up the top, and one down the bottom, in through the middle, and then back inside through one of the holes, back outside through the other hole, tighten, and back inside through the middle hole. We want the strings on both sides of the middle string. Chop, tighten, tie a knot, and double knot, and chop away, maybe ink away. I love this idea. This idea of like a house's journal, a house-shaped journal. I'm gonna explore that idea all on its own. Okay, here's the little booklet. And now, just to finish it off, we want to pop it in here. Isn't it looking sweet? Look at that. And you can just leave it as it is. Or you can go and add more circles, or you can do a doily. I have a book page circle over here. That's what I'm going to do. Just following the formula I've already done. And I always talk about this. Just follow the formula so you don't have to think for every single piece. Oh, what am I going to do with this one? Unless you want every single piece to be completely different, I prefer to not have to think of all the details, especially when I'm mess making. This is really blending in, isn't it? That's fine. It just is what it is. I mean, really, this embellishing stage, you just do whatever you please. You know, that's the fun. I just want to do the circles because I kind of like the idea of like all these circles. I don't know, it's blending in, but not for long, because of course one must ink those edges. You're gonna do paper crafting without inking the edges? Oh, and now the next thing and the last thing I'm gonna do is choose a why didn't anybody tell me? How could I have forgotten the twine? Okay, I'm gonna do the twine, and I'm gonna do this one, and I am going to make it work. Watch this. We go around once, maybe we can go under this time, that's fine, and then we go around twice. Oh well, there we have it, no big deal. Twine applied. Get over here. Here we go. There's a better with or without the twine. You know, it doesn't matter because I can always take it off. Okay, let's choose a sticker, or of course it can be a sentiment, a little message, or just an embellishment, a flower or something like that. But I'm specifically looking for a sticker, something like this. We could do like well, when I do this whole project as like a little window, look at this, because we're making a house kind of, so I want to keep this for when I actually do the houses. We can do windows, doors, and all sorts of stuff. But now I'm looking for a sticker that's just going to kind of peek out. I think that'll do. Okay, so I just remove the bottom of the sticker like that, so I have only a little bit of sticky section down the bottom, so that I can make the perfect placement. Where do I want it? You know, do I want it just over here? That's good, I'm happy with that. Glue that part down and then glue the rest. Okay, and now choosing my placement over here. Make myself a tiny little mark so that I know where to glue it. What do you think of this idea? Listen, I had a video planned on Sunday, as I usually do, but I didn't get to edit on time. And so I kind of felt bad that I didn't have a video this week, even though I'm totally fine. It's not the end of the world. But last night when I started making this, I thought, you know what? I'm going to film tomorrow and have a little midweek. Where is that mark? Oh, I see it. Yeah, so last night I thought, you know what? I'm going to make a little midweek quickie, midweek delight, shall we say. A little video. It's just a little project. It's like nothing special, really. There's nothing special about it. It's nothing new. It's nothing different. It's just fun and quite beautiful, if I may say so myself. So, oh, doesn't that look sweet? I love them. Oh, I love them. Oh, I do. Look at that. And then we have the little burlap ones. I don't love them as much, but I think, you know, they're not finished because they don't have anything inside. I think they look very beautiful and rustic. If you're gifting like a basket of, let's say, I don't know, I'm thinking of those Italian things with the pasta and the olive oil and the, I don't know what else, tomato, I don't know. You know those baskets, those like rustic looking type baskets, and then you can have something like this in there. Anyway, I'm just throwing out some ideas. I do like this. I do. But move away, because this is the real deal. What do you think? Which one is your favorite? The paper version or the burlap version? Well, I like where the burlap idea took me, that's for sure. And I do like the burlap idea. But I also wanted to say, just in case if you're wondering, I have this folder of ideas. And usually they come from like really old magazines, like I've shown before. You know, that I get in op shops and thrift stores and stuff like that, because I mean you can still find these magazines. And then when I see something, I write myself a note like this and I pop it in my ideas book, and then I give myself like, you know, what I want to do with this idea. Here it's telling me to use a scoreboard for more than just scoring folds, so I'm not sure exactly. Oh, maybe those flowers, I think I might have done something like that before. And anyway, look at this. I wrote myself a note. Love this button idea. We can do all sorts of fun stuff, and even this, look at this. There's just so many ideas out there in the world. People ask me, you're going to run out of ideas? I mean, some ideas that come straight out of my head, other ideas come from something I've seen, of course, and then you just take it and make it your own. And here's the burlap idea that I thought it was time to tackle, so I did, and I'm glad I did. And look at all the other things that we can make. A little gift bag, and what's this? Gift card holder. You know, just cute little things. And what I love about finding those ideas in magazines and stuff, it's like a recipe. You make a recipe, you follow the recipe exactly, and you're gonna get one type of a dish, and then you have another person follow the recipe exactly, and it's gonna taste completely different, it's gonna look different, everything's gonna be different. So that's a mystery, another mystery I can't solve. Like, why can my husband make amazing coffee and I do everything exactly the same and it's never amazing? It's mediocre, you know. He always says you're just missing the most important ingredient, which is love. You know, you have to sprinkle it with love. And the truth is, I don't love cooking and I do not love making coffee. And he doesn't mind it. He loves cooking. Anyway, I'm off on a tangent right now. So I shall stop here. Please let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.